All right, good morning and welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to always be back here with you guys to discuss the latest from the world of football in regards to transfers, in regards to Premier League, discuss your teams tactically, technically, and every single news that could be coming through from some of your favorite teams around Europe, but mainly starting off with the Premier League. And this morning, we are back once again to discuss more of that. And we will be posing a question that has sort of on a topic that has gotten Man United fans in a bit of rage, similar to that of what Arsenal fans recently have had in the wake of the news that they are signing Noni Madueke. So we will be discussing that and more. But if I do cut this short, please do bear with me, as there's some ongoing activity that I expect to be done. But anyways, for now, allow us to soldier on. Allow us to soldier on. Sorry about that. Just having our audios tested, as the case often is always, to make sure everything does check out before we get into the thick and of our conversation. So, anyways, it's a pleasure to be here once again. Thank you so much to all those that managed to be part of our morning broadcast yesterday. Then in the late afternoon, as we talked about, Liverpool turning down a bid for Luis Diaz, and then as soon as we had concluded that broadcast, the news came in that Liverpool had approached Newcastle for Alexander Isak, and then of course we came back to late in the night around 11:30 p.m. and did another broadcast to sort of discuss that situation and a little more. And it was a pleasure to have you all, to have every single one of you that managed to catch those episodes. Lynn, hi Lynn. Hi guys, good morning, Lynn. How are you? It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Sorry, here in Kampala, Uganda. It's 9 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. How are you doing? Where are you joining us from this morning? It's a pleasure to have you. Kindly like the broadcast, but also if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Although your name doesn't sound too new to my ears, in as far as this channel is concerned. The friend, what are your thoughts on about Nepal? My thoughts about Nepal, that's the Kaiser, is that the Kayaza, something like that? My thoughts on Nepal. What about Nepal, guys? For starters, it's it's a sports channel. What clock? Maybe Myanmar, it's about 12:39 p.m. Wow. So you guys are about 3.5 hours ahead of us. That's in Myanmar. Lynn, you're the first person to join us from Myanmar. And unfortunately, the only thing I know about Myanmar is not a good thing. It's a thing to do with the political situation that you guys have had. The riots, the fighting, the army control, and things of that nature. And correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that's what I've heard about Myanmar. But it's good to have you on the broadcast. So please consider subscribing to the channel. But thank you so much for being with us here this morning and slash afternoon on your end. Do you know about the tallest mountain? That's Mountain Everest, if I'm not mistaken. Mount Everest in China. If you're talking about Africa, then it's Mountain Kilimanjaro that is shared by Kenya and Tanzania. So then also, Rwenzori Mountains in Uganda do come in that realm of things. Augustine, hi Augustine, hello brother. What are your thoughts on the new Conor McGregor pictures? New Conor McGregor pictures? Unfortunately, I'm not yet seen those. What happened? Did anything happen? Conor Augustine, please fill us in, guys. As much as I'm a sports guy, I can't keep up on every little thing that happens out there in regards to sports. I mean, you can't be the same person, on golf, F1, basketball, athletics, and then football. So sometimes I need gaps to be helped filled in for me. as well. It's Nepal, dude, not in China. Mount Everest as only face of China, but today is in Nepal. Wow, okay, that's new to me. Thank you for sort of thank you for refreshing my geography. I didn't know that it was Nepal because in Uganda we do have what is it called? A consulate, not a consulate, but somebody that is designated as to serve as a consular for Nepal, and that's the billionaire in Rubil Supareya. Sunil Rupareya. Yes. So okay, that's new. Basically, the same way. I think this is similar to what Tanzanians and Kenyans would argue in regards to Mountain Kilimanjaro. They would say, you Kenyans only have the, a small bit of the side of the mountain, and we have the fair share of it." So basically, I think that's the situation in that regard. Then also, Uganda has something similar when it comes to Mountain Muhabra and things of that nature. But anyways, guys, away from the tourism bits and everything to do with the geographies of our countries and what tourist attractions there may exist in those respective spaces. Let's go to the gist of the conversation, because as the title reads, Footballtribe UG, it's a football channel where we talk about the latest news from the Premier League, from the biggest clubs in Europe, and things of that nature. Everything football updates. That's what we discuss. And today morning's topic will revolve around Man United, and we will be posing the question: should Man United sign Nicolas Jackson? Because they do continue with their hunt for a striker. I've come to Ghana, Sudan, and Uganda during the UN peace campaign. Wow. Okay. Sounds like you're a well-traveled individual. I've never left Uganda for starters, by the way, for purposes of honesty. But I would love to travel the world as well. But how was your experience in Uganda, particularly? Please let us know. You got the white shirt on. That's Nino. Thank you so much. Are you an Ajax fan, Nino? Good to have you on the broadcast. Kindly like the broadcast, guys, but also consider subscribing to the channel, seeing that you're new here. But like I said, our question this morning, Lynn says, give it for Myanmar, please. All right. Team Myanmar, thank you so much. I see the Ajax Stadium from my window. Wow. How does it feel to live so close to the stadium? And I've seen in certain areas where, for example, people live in buildings that tower above the stadium. So when it's match day, they simply pull out their chair and sit at the balcony and get to enjoy the game from a distance. I mean, isn't that a great feeling? So how is it? How is the environment around the neighborhood on match days? Does it become too noisy? Is it fun? Do you get outgoing? Do you go to the games? What's that like? And but thank you for joining us from Netherlands there. You say, I loved how chill people were, but was in trouble in Sudan when a local gangster troubled me. Okay, yes. I do not know what part of Sudan you are in, whether it was South Sudan or North Sudan or mainland Sudan or Sudan as it is referred to. But Khartoum, okay, Khartoum, Darfur region, I do not know what particular area you are in, but every country has its own shenanigans. That's all I can say. But good to know, good to hear that, Ugandan people are chill. They are known to be very, very welcoming people. That's one of the things that we are really traditionally known for in regards to, being welcome. Welcoming, visitors and things of that nature. Allow me dispose of my jacket because it's getting a little hot in here. Anyways, so that's that. So any Man United fans on the broadcast, any Manchester United fans on the broadcast as we discuss your team, because that's where the conversation has taken us. Yesterday, there was a tweet put out by the United Stand, and they said Nicolas Jackson to Manchester United, yes or no? And I said definitely yes. Now, of course, Man United fans have not taken it well with me in the wake of that response, because One requested that I do delete the tweet. The other, in fact, their specific words were delete this shit. Then another said, if we sign him, I'm cutting ties with that team. And so I found it quite interesting, and the reason for that particularly is because this kind of debate or this kind of conversation is similar to what Arsenal fans have previously had in the wake of news that Arsenal were making a move to sign Noni Madueke from Chelsea. Now, because Arsenal signed some multiple players from Chelsea over the years, a total of 7 players in the last six years are players from Chelsea. Okay, I'm a Chelsea fan and fan of Ajax. Okay, that's good to hear, Lynn. Nino, you do have perhaps a fellow Ajax fan on the broadcast here, Lynn. Lynn, where are you joining us from? What country are you in? Particularly, I'm from Kampala, Uganda, for purposes of a reminder. So, yes, and this particular topic is related to Chelsea. So, Arsenal fans were up in arms in the wake of their interest in Noni Madueke because he is bound to be the 7th player that Arsenal signed from Chelsea in the last 6 years. Going back to David Luiz, going back to players like William Borges da Silva, you go back to players like Jorginho, Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, and then, of course, Kepa Arrizabalaga, and now Noni Madueke. Now, the reason as to why they were up in arms, for starters, is because some of the players that they've signed from Chelsea have not really worked out. Two, they believe that their team is signing Chelsea's rejects or players that are on the peripherals of Chelsea. And for that was particularly true in the work of Jorginho, in the work of Raheem Sterling, in the work of David Luiz, and some have worked out depending on how you interpret it. It's been fair. For example, David Luiz, I thought was fair. Jorginho got on well. I mean, he was a squad player. And then Kepa, we are yet to see what he will be capable of. Noni Madueke, again, we all know that there is a very good player in there that needs to be sort of polished up. So we're just waiting to see on what he can deliver for this Arsenal side. William Borges da Silva and Raheem Sterling, that was totally disastrous. It has not worked out. You go back, but Chelsea and Arsenal go back in the days. You remember the swap deal between Ashley Cole and William Gallas. You remember in 2015 them signing Pedro. You remember Lassana Diallo and Jussi Benayoun. Those are players that have both played for Chelsea and Arsenal. So really, Olivier Giroud making the switch from the Emirates to Stamford Bridge. Really, me and Cole Palmer play very, very good. Okay, yeah, Cole Palmer is a very, very good player. And by the way, we're going to discuss Cole Palmer in just a bit. But Man United, do you think United should, you also remind us of that Chelsea, thumping of against PSG. Indeed, a very, very beautiful performance. But do you guys think Man United should be making the move for Nicolas Jackson? Now, hear me out, and I'm going to be simply a devil's advocate here. If I'm being honest, Nicolas Jackson is not the best of strikers that you can get out there. Not really. He is not among the prime strikers that you can look at. For example, if we were to sort of shortlist who are in, let's say, bracket 1, we would say the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Victor Osimhen, Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres. That's the component. And then we do have a class B, where you would put players like Emmanuel Emega, players like Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, and putting those in pool B. Players Oli Watkins, players like Dusan Blajovic, players like Moises Kean from Fiorentina. That would be my pot B. Then you come to pot C. Maybe that's where I'll put the likes of Gabriel Jesus, Nicolas Jackson, and the likes. Dylan Asha, hi, good morning. Good to have you on the broadcast. Kindly like the broadcast while you're still here with us, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're first time being here with us. So that's where I put Nicolas Jackson in sort of pot B of strikers, and as far as some of the best current strikers that there is in European football. Of course, I've not exhausted them, but I mean, of course, the likes of Kylian Mbappe would be in pot A as well. But by all accounts and measures, that's how I would rank them. Now, the reason as why I would say maybe Manchester United should sign Nicolas Jackson is in sheer comparison to all the other players they've been possibly linked with. Have you know the green, yellow, red colors comes from Ethiopian flag? How Okay, that's a kind reminder. Now that you speak of it, I get to think about it. But also, Jamaica has similar colors. They have yellow, they have their black. Uganda as well has the black and yellow in their flag. Although the green, yes, the green is not there. I seem to remember it had some bit of inspiration with Jamaica. This particular kit. Let Nino, if he's still here with us, correct me if I'm wrong. But that's to the best of my recollection. Then Nicolas Jackson, he's the best. That's according to Dylan Ash. Dylan Ash, are you a Chelsea fan? So basically, what I'm trying to say, in this case being the devil's advocate, that when you look at some of the names that have been linked with potentially with the move for Manchester United, in as far as strikers are concerned, we kicked off the summer with them being in the lead to sign Liam Delap from Ipswich Town. Unfortunately, Chelsea beat them to the punch because Chelsea had more to offer in terms of UEFA Champions League football than Man United could say for themselves. So Chelsea won that battle. When they won that battle, it meant that Man United needed to go back to the drawing board and look for alternative targets. And in alternative targets, there have been mentions of players like Victor Osimhen, who is bound for a move to Galatasaray, even though Napoli and Galatasaray are yet to iron out the payment structure for that deal. Then too, another player that was mentioned is Hugo Ekitike. Manchester United, made inquiries about the availability of Hugo Ekitike and what it would take to sign a player like him. And Eintracht Frankfurt has told all suitors it would cost them 100 million euros. But as we speak, it is Newcastle that have made the formal bid to try and sign the 23-year-old from Eintracht Frankfurt. Then also Liverpool and Chelsea are pursuing the same player. Then we started hearing rumors linking Man United with, of course, we heard about the rumors with Victor Gyökeres, the relationship and the manager in Ruben Amorim, and things of that nature. Then also, it started boiling down to other targets as all these other players started to lean towards different destinations. Victor Gyökeres possibly to Arsenal, like we said, Osimhen to Galatasaray, then maybe Hugo Ekitike to either Liverpool or Newcastle, depending on how that concludes, and things of that nature. Really. So Man United started being linked with players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is a free agent from Everton. Now, he's been at Everton for 9 seasons, and I think he's scored a total of about 72 goals. Now, that's not good. That's not good numbers. His best season in an Everton jersey was in 2020-2021 when he scored 16 goals. And the season prior to that, 2019-2020, he scored 13 goals. Those have been his best seasons in an Everton jersey. Now, that's not a measure. Now, of course, you would say he has a Premier League experience, but he's also injury prone. There is 2 seasons during the course of his career where he could only make 17 appearances in each of those seasons. So again, his injury record is not good. Now, then also Man United have been linked with the possibility of signing Ollie Watkins. Now, of course, if it came down to between Ollie Watkins and Nicolas Jackson, I'd say choose Ollie Watkins, even though he's 29 and turning 30 in December, while Nicolas Jackson is what? At 24 now? That notwithstanding, we all know how proven a goal scorer Ollie Watkins is. In fact, his best season came in 2023-2024 when he scored 19 goals and I think provided 13 assists in that campaign for Aston Villa. And that season he scored 16 goals. So really, then also this was mentioned as more of wishful than actually desired. That Man United should make a move for Joao Mateta. I do not disagree with that because he's 28. Over the last 2 seasons, he scored a total of 30 goals, 16 during 2023-2024 season, and then of course 14 goals last season. So good player, but also a bit of a late developer. Now, when you look at Nicolas Jackson compared to the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, compared to the likes of Callum Wilson, who is a free agent having left Newcastle. I would say if it boiled down to Nicolas Jackson versus Callum Wilson or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'll tell Man United sign Nicolas Jackson. Two, Nicolas Jackson has scored more goals in the last 2 campaigns than all of Manchester United strikers in the last 2 seasons or even 3 seasons, if I'm being honest. Okay, 2 seasons because during the 2022-2023 campaign, Marcus Rashford was simply on fire. He scored 30 goals across all competitions. So, but for example, when you look at Nicolas Jackson's numbers, in his debut season, that was 2023-2024, he made 35 appearances, scored 14 goals, and provided 5 assists. That's a 19-goal involvement, which is in part. Then last season, he played 5 games fewer. He played 30 Premier League games, scored 10 goals, and provided 5 assists. That's a 15-goal involvement. Of course, it's fewer games, therefore a fewer goal contribution. But at least he's showing signs of that he is capable of hitting double figures every season. That comes about. So in Man United fans, hear me out. Really, when you compare Nicolas Jackson to Rasmus Højlund scored 4 goals last season. Joshua Zirkzee in his debut campaign, he scored 3 goals. Nicolas Jackson in his debut campaign scored 10. So how do you tell me that Nicolas Jackson is that bad a player and that you're better off retaining those that you have and not making a move for Nicolas Jackson? That it would be so forbidden, so horrible a decision if Man United made a move for Nicolas Jackson. Now, let's not try to discuss price at this stage, because price could be an issue, But how do you tell me he is that bad a player when he scored more goals than 2 of your strikers in last season? Because they scored a combined total of 7 goals. He scored 10 and provided 5 assists. How is that not good enough? Then, okay. Dylan said Nicolas Jackson is the best. Said yes, Chelsea is the best team in the world. Dylan is a Chelsea fan. Will win the FIFA World Cup. They won that already. Yes, Jackson is the best. It is a cup session that has not received any team, Chelsea. Then Dylan says Nicolas Jackson must be sold with very, very selfish play. Juventus, Chelsea selling Nicolas Jackson away. Now, I know that there is a host of Premier League clubs that are monitoring the situation. My vlog edit, 9 to 9 m returns back here with us from Bangladesh. He says, help me, I need $50 kindly. Unfortunately, I do not have that financial muscle to help you with $50 at the moment. My mother is in hospital. It's quite unfortunate that your mother is in hospital, but I do not have that $50 at my disposal at the time, unfortunately. The world is the club in the world. Okay, whatever that means. But yeah, like I said, congratulations, Team Chelsea. You surprised us. You beat PSG hands down one day, a Club World Cup. Congratulations to you. But in the work of that context and that debate, really, Manchester United fans, I really, really hope we would have one of them here. Tell me, in what world is Nicolas Jackson that bad that you would rather cut ties with your club if they sign Nicolas Jackson when he is better than all the strikers that you do have currently? How? I mean, look at it this way. When Arsenal are being linked to the move for Benjamin Sesko, he is not the best of strikers that there is out there. He is not the best of strikers that there is out there. But because he's only potential at the moment, he's only potential. Scored 13 goals and provided, I think, about 5 assists last campaign in the Bundesliga alone, and I think across all competitions. He hit, I think, about 21 goals. But he is better than what else Arsenal have, because Kyle Havertz scored 9 goals and he ended up the top scorer for the Gunners last campaign. Martinelli scored 8. Bukayo Saka scored, I think, 6 and provided 10 assists or 11. Then, so you look at all those numbers. Gabriel Jesus, I think he scored what? Was it less than 5? Really? So he would be better than everything that they got. If look, all these teams are trying to improve. All these teams are trying to improve. And for me, I think that while he is not the best of strikers, Nicolas Jackson, that he does miss lots of chances, I think he is still better than what Man United have got. And let's be honest, where are they? They finished goddamn 15 on the league table. Chelsea finished 4th. So how are we supposed to argue that suddenly it's that bad an idea for Man United to contemplate signing Nicolas Jackson? Rodrigo Goat says hi. Hi, Rodrigo. Good to have you back on the channel. Then Dylan says, what is the best team for PSG? Is it not? It's nothing for Chelsea guys. That is not Real Madrid. Chelsea, the football club. I love Chelsea guys. Thank you so much, Dylan. Yeah, the Conference League champions beat the UEFA Champions League champions. Quite the upset in football. But I thought Chelsea were quite flawless in that game, really. So do let me know what your thoughts are in regards to, should Man United sign Nicolas Jackson? Particularly for me, given some of the other names that have been linked with the potential move to Man United, I say get Nicolas Jackson ahead of Callum Wilson. Get Nicolas Jackson ahead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Get Nicolas Jackson ahead of Moises Kean, because yes, Moises Kean scored 19 goals in the Italian Serie A last season. But let's not forget, he came to the Premier League in 2019 and played for Everton for 1 season, and he burnt his fingers. It did not work out. I think he scored 1 goal. Then he was sent out on loan to Paris Saint-Germain, where he scored 13 goals in 26 appearances. So let's not act like suddenly it's too forbidden. Dusan Vlahovic, who we thought he was going to be the next prime Gonzalo Higuain in Italian football, maybe the next Ciro Immobile. I mean, he's not a clip start. He scored 17 goals last campaign. He's not the player that they signed from Fiorentina. In any case, there have been discussions over possibly to possibly cancel his contract. So why should Man United have more confidence in signing Dusan Vlahovic, who Juventus think has not delivered to them to the best of the expectations, and yet you do have a Nicolas Jackson, who in 2 seasons has scored 24 goals, and he shows the signs of improvement. And then again, Man United, you've signed Matthias Cunha, possibly you learn Brian Mbomo while at it. That's more creativity added to the team. We are talking about 2 players that provided a combined 13 assists last campaign. Cunha providing 6, Mbomo 7, while they scored 15 and 20 goals respectively. So really, why not? This one says Chelsea the best, but we know sometimes Nicolas Jackson, yes, he does miss lots of chances, and you come back to say this. Yes, he does miss chances, as does any other striker, really. We've seen the best strikers out there, that there is out there, miss sitters, absolute sitters, and yet we did not think they were horrible for it, I mean, go and watch, the worst misses of all time. You'll see, even the best of strikers that there has ever been have missed, loads of opportunities, clear-cut chances, Even Cristiano Ronaldo, I forget what name, at Man United, he had the goal at his mercy, and yet somehow he blazed that ball over the bar within less than 3 feet of the goal line, really. So it does happen, unfortunately. It does happen. It does happen. So anyways, quickly, let's run away from the conversation around Nicolas Jackson and Man United. But they do, now, still keeping tabs with Man United, there's still a gap in valuation between Brentford and Man United over the transfer of Brian Mbomo. So Brentford are not satisfied that United have met their value for the player, even though Man United maintain that they are not willing to pay £70 million for the 25-year-old Cameroon international. Then Napoli are looking to sign a new goalkeeper this summer, and their key request from Antonio Conte. It is understood that Napoli are trying to sign Ederson Morales from Manchester City, with talks in place last week, but move off as not feasible at the moment. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. Then Man United do hold interest in signing Pavis Estupinan from Brighton and Hove Albion, a very, very good, fullback. Then, so let's wait and see. Then Chelsea are set to hold a fresh talks for Joel Hato, with Liverpool also interested. Ajax quoting 60 million pounds, but suitors hoping for closer to 40 million pounds. Hato does not have a release clause. That's according to Ben Jacobs. Now, Joel Hato has been a player that has been monitored by Premier League clubs for a good amount of time, Arsenal inclusive. But I do know for a fact that Liverpool are interested as well as Chelsea. But anyways, let's just wait and see how everything does play out, because Arsenal signing Christian Mosquera, still 21 years of age, and I think Joel Hato is turning 20 very soon, if he hasn't already. So two young players. He can play as a left back, he can play as a left-sided centre back. Very, very good player. Only 19 years of age, or turning 20 soon, or if he hasn't already. But very, very good player with a good amount of experience in his legs already. Then quickly, again, still in regards to transfer, yesterday we know for a fact that Liverpool formally approached Newcastle to try and sign Alexander Isak. They've not yet made a formal bid, but Newcastle do maintain that the player is not for sale. The 25-year-old Swedish striker scored 23 goals and provided 6 assists in the Premier League alone last season, which was quite impressive. So that's why he is a hot cake. Arsenal were interested, but I think they deemed the deal financially not feasible for them to proceed with. But let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see how that situation will develop. But Liverpool have made public, have made it known to Newcastle that they are interested in signing their player. That's Alexander Isak. We can only wait and see, because while the club may be adamant that the player is not for sale, for example, Fabrizio Romano said Liverpool again confirmed the Newcastle intention to present a record bid for Alexander Isak as revealed on Tuesday. The proposal is ready for a £120 million package, but will only be sent if Newcastle change their stance. Always been not for sale. So let's wait and see, because, like I said, Newcastle are in negotiations with Eintracht Frankfurt to try and sign the 23-year-old striker Hugo Ekitike. Now, Hugo Ekitike scored, I think, 15 goals and provided 8 assists in the German Bundesliga alone last season. It was quite impressive. And across all competitions, he scored 22 goals and provided 12 assists. So very, very good player in there. And Newcastle view him as a partner to play alongside Alexander Isak. And by the way, remember, Newcastle are also trying to convince their star players, the likes of Alexander Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, that they're going to be intentional in the market, they're going to strengthen the team, and that the team is going to try and compete with the other big boys in the Premier League and on the European scene. So you cannot do that by then letting go of your top players like Alexander Isak and then replace them with Hugo Ekitike to sort of start all over again. Because when they signed Alexander Isak in 2022, he was a bit rough. He hadn't scored so many goals that as in the aftermath of the 2021-2022 season, the Spanish La Liga, and yet he came and got the ground running. But in his debut campaign, he made 22 appearances, scored 10 goals and provided 1 assist. Then the subsequent season, he made 30 appearances, scored 21 goals, and provided, I think, about 3 assists or something. So then last season, he hit 23 goals and provided 6 assists. So you can see he's been, developing and making progress. And he is their star player, arguably their most important player in that team. So, but let's wait and see how things will develop in that regard. So the Magpies feel that the leaking of Liverpool's £120 million interest to the public domain is designed to unsettle Alexander Isak. That's according to the Telegraph. While as well, Ekitike Liverpool also have been made inquiries about 4 other attackers in case they are unable to secure a deal for Alexander Isak. And among them is Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, 29, Napoli's Victor Osimhen, we've spoken about Victor Osimhen, Yohan Wissa of Brentford, 28 years of age, and Real Madrid's Rodrigo Goes. Now, again, Liverpool in the last 48 hours have been strongly linked with the move for Rodrigo Goes, and they could make a dash for the 24-year-old Brazilian international. In regards to Joao Wissa, I do not know how credible that news is, but I do know for a fact that Nottingham Forest are trying to sign Joao Wissa or Joao Wissa, depending on how you pronounce the name, from Brentford, although they are far apart in valuation of the player. And regards to a bid, because they made a bid slightly under £25 million for a player that is valued at about £50 million. Remember, they tried to sign him in January, they failed at that, so they only returned to try and sign him this summer. Then, meanwhile, Frankfurt are understood to have rejected. We all know they rejected the £70 million bid for Hugo Ekitike. Then Napoli have formally informed Liverpool that a deal for a deal for Darwin Núñez is off. The 26-year-old won't be going to Napoli, and that's according to Fabrizio Romano. And that news, coming out on Tuesday. Yes, on Tuesday, that Napoli had formally informed Liverpool that Darwin Núñez deal is considered off. Napoli will sign Luca as a new striker. Excuse me, despite Núñez being open to join, to join Napoli, and that's because they thought the price was too high for them to meet. But Darwin Núñez remains a target for Saudi Pro League clubs. Then also Leeds United did reach an agreement with Newcastle for the transfer of 27-year-old midfielder Sean Longstaff, the brother to Matthew Longstaff, and then Liverpool also turned down a bid worth £58.6 million, which is about 67.5 million euros, essentially, or approximately, for the transfer of Luis Diaz. The 28-year-old Colombian international has told the club that he wants to leave this summer. But let's wait and see how that situation develops. And it's for that very reason that Liverpool could look to work on a deal for either Anthony Gordon or Rodrigo Goes if they can find, their desired value for Luis Diaz, who for now they maintain is not for sale. They told Bayern Munich pretty much the same, as well as Barcelona. Then also Tottenham are rivaling Inter Milan to sign 23-year-old Belgian defender Connie De Winter. That's according to iPaper. While Bournemouth are still holding out for a £60 million deal for Ilya Zabani. That's the 22-year-old Ukrainian centre-back who is of interest to Paris Saint-Germain. It looks like they want, somebody to help Lucas Beraldo, William Pacho, and Marquinhos in that centre-back kind of role. Excuse me. Then quickly, Chelsea are looking to do a summer clear route. The likes of Joao Felix, they're in talks with Benfica for the 25-year-old Portuguese international to return to where it all began before he made the move to Atletico de Madrid. Christopher Nkunku is the other, on the shelf for sale. Teams like Man United, Tottenham, as well as Bayern Munich have all been linked with a potential move for Christopher Nkunku. Then also, Man United have registered interest. Their interest in wanting to sign Juventus is a midfielder. That's Douglas Luiz. I think, as well as Everton are interested. Guys, I do not know why clubs are being slow on Douglas Luiz. Premier League proven, we remember him being very, very good in the 2023-2024 campaign at Aston Villa. And the question is, why not? Yes, he went over to Juventus. Things have not worked out well for him. He did suffer a couple of injuries, but I think he is still a very, very good player in there. And at 27 years of age, that's a good profile. And I do think you could land him for about 35 million euros because Juventus signed him for about 45. And given that he's not, his career has sort of declined, you could get him on slightly lower transfer fees. Then also quickly, Liverpool, apologies, yes, excuse me. Yes, Liverpool and French centre-back Ibrahim Konate, 26, has rejected a lucrative approach from the Saudi Pro League, but according to AS in Spain, the Reds have slapped a £43.5 million price tag on the 26-year-old French defender, who has so far rejected all contract offers from the Reds. and some reports do indicate that he wants to see out the remainder of his contract and leave as a free agent next summer, with Real Madrid seriously interested. Sassuolo and Italy striker Andrea Pinamonti is attracting interest from West Ham, as well as Brentford. There, according to the Standard. So the 26-year-old is a target for the two London clubs in Brentford and West Ham United, but let's wait and see. There's interest from Leeds United in signing Spanish goalkeeper Gonzalo Garcia, 21, on loan from Real Madrid, according to TBR Football, while Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa have made Aston Villa under 21 England midfielder Jacob Ramsey, that's 24 years of age, their number one target in this transfer window. So a lot of speculation continues to go around in regards to some of your favorite clubs, and that's the latest from that world. In terms of transfers complete, those are really plenty. But we know that serious moves are being made in the market. Just keep tabs. We all saw the deal for Luka Modric going to AC Milan, then Real Madrid signing an ex-Man United defender in Alvaro Carreras from Benfica for 50 million euros. Jordan Henderson, at the age of 35, completing the return to the Premier League to Brentford on a 2-year contract. So let's just wait and see. Then again, United remain interested in signing a goalkeeper, and then now of course Andre Onana being injured with that hamstring injury does not really help, because they had hoped they would move on. They had hoped they would move on Andre Onana and then get to sign a goalkeeper, but that situation has so far not really come out well. Again, now in the wake of Liverpool's pursuit for Alexander Isak, they started all sorts of comparison between Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres. I do think that any team that signs Alexander Isak is better off than any striker else they would sign. From at the moment, he's 25, turning 26 in September, so age is still on his side. So that means he still has a bare minimum of 5 good years as a prime striker, whereas Victor Gyökeres is 27. Victor Osimhen is 26. Not much older, but I do think when it comes to athleticism, dribbling, Alexander Isak is still better. I think he's a better all-round striker as compared to the other two, but they are all in the same bucket, because I see some online numbers, for example, making the rounds that in 351 games, Alexander Isak has scored 150 goals. Victor Gyökeres in 362 games, he scored 187 goals, while Victor Osimhen in 301 games, he scored 173 goals. I do not know how factual those numbers are, but that's according to some, online reports. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how things will develop in that realm. Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see how situations will develop around some of your favorite clubs. Then the other key development, still from the world of football, is Manchester City have agreed a 10-year deal with Puma as their shirt makers. The deal is worth £100 million per season, and over the course of 10 years, that's going to be £1 billion. Arguably, the most expensive shirt deals that you will hear, or kit making deals. It's a record kit making deal that there is. Previously, that of Adidas and Arsenal was one of the best, but now this one eclipses it. But let's wait and see. Very good news for Man City. I think possibly that, imagine Man City getting £100 million from Puma every year, and then every single year they are in the UEFA Champions League. That's almost another £100 million, or slightly under. But that's already £200 million in revenue before you look at match revenue and other commercial deals. So, and yet somehow because of financial fair play rules, because of profit and sustainability rules, we think that smaller clubs can compete with some of these big teams. And no kit sponsor or kit maker is going to go to Everton and give them that kind of deal, even for 80 million pounds. I even think even 50 would be an exaggeration of itself. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on how things will turn out to be in that respect. Otherwise, it's been 45 minutes of us doing this. I think it suffices for us to unlock this one here. Thank you so much, Lynn, for being with us. Thank you so much, the Kaiser, for being with us. Thank you so much, Nino, for being with us this morning. Augustine Gutierrez, thank you so much for being with us this morning for our broadcast. It was a pleasure having you. Dylan Ash, thank you so much for being with us. My vlog edit, thank you so much for being with us. Zakaria Moholo, good morning to you, my brother. Where are you joining us from? Rodrigo the Goat, it's been a pleasure being with you. But Zakaria, where are you joining us from? Kindly let us know this beautiful morning, and what team do you support, if any, that's in the Premier League or anywhere across Europe, or even if it's a local team from your local country. Please do let us know. And then, guys, also, if you're interested in learning some digital skills like cybersecurity, coding, and web design, do not hesitate to check out our friends at Able State. I'll leave their link down in the description so that you can check them out. You do qualify for a 5% discount on all if you choose to train with them on some of those courses in cybersecurity, web design, and coding. And they do offer both in-person and online training sessions for their enrollees, and they do help them find jobs in the market in the aftermath of their training. So that's Able State, our friends at Able State. Do you guys have any other question? Otherwise, if you do not have any other question, then we can call it a morning. We are approaching the hour of 10 a.m. It's 54 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. here in Kampala, Uganda. You've been good company. Do not hesitate to go check out all content under the video section, under the short section. Today we will be looking to do some more content regarding, possibly Liverpool, maybe. Then Arsenal. This is some bit of breaking news. Arsenal have reached an agreement in principle with Ethan Nwaneri over a new deal after progress in talks reported last weekend. Nwaneri and his camp have now agreed to sign a contract at the club. Ethan always gave priority to Arsenal despite interest from several clubs. So there you have it, Arsenal fans. Congratulations, Ethan Nwaneri is staying, and he will be not leaving. He won't be leaving, despite reports that perhaps Arsenal's pursuit for Noni Madueke could have unsettled him, and possibly their exploits or in trying to persuade deal for Ebeleche Eze could have set him off a bit. So otherwise, it's been a pleasure doing this with you guys. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's engage later in a subsequent bulletin, so broadcasts and clips that we'll be putting out during the course of today. Otherwise, I will see you later. Have yourselves a wonderful day and the rest of the week. Bye-bye.